Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at 1More's ColorBuds. These are true wireless TWS style headphones which sell for under $100, and they can be considered as a successor to the pretty popular 1More stylish TWS wireless buds, which dropped around this time last year. The difference here is now, as the name implies, it comes in a few different color variants. This is a gold edition, also comes in a pink, in addition to a green, a blue, as well as a black. None of the colors are too flashy. They're all pretty muted and pastel or macaroon-like, which I do enjoy. And in terms of other specs, they come with Qualcomm's aptX support, so it has pretty low latency as far as wireless buds are concerned, uses the latest Bluetooth 5.0, and they do have balanced armatures, which are a little more uncommon for wireless buds. The majority of budget ones use dynamic drivers, which are cheaper. This should give us, as the name implies, a more balanced sound. They also come with in-ear detection sensors, which will automatically play and pause the music whenever you pop them in or out of your head, and they are IPX5 rated. A few other details to keep in mind is that these do have touch controls as well, so you can tap on them to play and pause your music as well as to skip tracks. You can tap 2 times or 3 times to activate those controls, and there's also a customizable companion app that you can download for iOS or Android that will give you the ability to customize those controls to do other things like adjust the volume. So this one does emit ANC since it's still one of their less expensive models. Battery life is concerned, the buds themselves will last for around 6 hours on a single charge, which is pretty good, and the casing will provide up to 22 hours when you're on the road. So immediately on top we have the buds presented. Now, by the way, this is the gold colored edition, but on first impressions you can see it's a little bit closer to something like rose gold. There's other accessories which include a USB Type-C charging cable as well as some spare silicone tips, typical assortment of the user manuals, in addition to a companion app that you can download, and also a 1More sticker. Taking a closer look at the design, first thing that hits you is really how compact the casing here is. Against other competitors like Apple's AirPods or Redmi AirDots, you can see that this thing is also, again, very small and portable, easy to slide into the pocket when you're on the go. The casing here is constructed out of a slick polycarbonate plastic, but it does feel pretty solid overall, and there's also the Type-C charging port on the rear. The base here prints a few specs and is also made out of a soft touch rubber material to prevent it from sliding around when you set it onto a surface. Overall, it does look very stylish and sleek. The door here is magnetic, so whenever you open it up, the LED indication light will pop onto life, and the buds will begin pairing with each other. Now, if we take a closer look at the buds, they're also magnetic, and they can be attached into the case very easily, and you can pop them out. Taking a closer look here at the shape, they do have a very ergonomic overall design. You can see almost alien-like. These are easily one of the most ergonomic feeling in-ear style buds that I've tried in a long time. They don't fall loose no matter how much you shake your head, how much vigorous exercise you're performing. Moving into the audio quality and performance, overall they do sound very impressive, which is the norm for 1More's products. They do typically deliver close to audiophile quality, if not hi-fi quality wearables at a pretty affordable price. The thing that really strikes me the most is just how well balanced they are. There's really no weakness in terms of the frequency range. The bass here is definitely present, but it's not really a lasting bass effect. Mids are just super detailed and crisp. In fact, it's perhaps the most pronounced and emphasized out of all the sounds that you'll be listening to. Trebles, though, are also extremely bright and clean, very clear, full of detail, but never too piercing or harsh. At the same time, bass is definitely present. It gives you a punch whenever drum beats hit in, although it's very tight and controlled, so it's not really one of those rumbly basses, never really overpowers any segment. Regardless if it's pop, if it's EDM, if it's rock music, indie music, acoustic, instrumentals, and vocals alike, all were just very enjoyable to listen to. Latency is also pretty low thanks to Qualcomm's aptX. These are great for watching videos on YouTube and Netflix with without any problems. Super stable, so never got out of sync with each other, never got disconnected even when I was moving around, which is pretty much the norm these days with Bluetooth 5.0 buds. Overall works quite well. With that being said, if you're using them for gaming, the latency of course will still not be invisible between things like triggering, say, a gunshot and then hearing the sound. It's still not going to be as quick as, say, using wired buds, but that's to be expected. Now, once you are connected to the app using Bluetooth, what you can control here is to see things like the battery status. The smart playback for autoplay and pause can be turned on or off, and under custom settings is where you can change the layout of the touch-sensitive keys, which again is really nice to see. So you can do things like, instead of a double tap being play and pause, you can turn the volume higher or lower. Just like before, there is another application from 1More that you can download, which allows you to quote-unquote burn in the sound of the buds. So it's a little bit counterintuitive to how the phrase is used maybe in smartphones and displays, where you think burn in is something bad, but that's not the case here with audio. It's actually something that can improve the sound compared to something that you take just out of the box and immediately start listening to. You can also find inside of this app controls for things like an equalizer. So we mentioned how maybe bass was not the most emphasized out of the mids and trebles. If you prefer something with heavier bass, you can definitely do that by tweaking up the various frequency ranges and kind of adjusting the various genres that they also provide. Now, just a few closing remarks. Overall, I would say that the ColorBuds are definitely a great pair of consistent and well-performing wireless buds that are a good alternative to something like AirPods, Samsung Galaxy Buds. It's still not going to give you necessarily tons of new features that we haven't seen before. For instance, there isn't an ambient mode, which can amplify the surrounding sounds. Here's a comparison with Redmi's AirDots just to give you a perspective. So these things are super compact, light, and comfortable. Overall, a great mix though in terms of the ergonomics, a great seal, as well as great audio quality that works well across genres, across the board, in addition to just being very stable in terms of performance. So if you're interested, you can check out more details in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the 1More ColorBuds.